What terrifies the global elite more than anything? What partnership has them launching desperate attacks and fabricating lawsuits in a frantic attempt to stop what's coming? Well, right now I'm going to reveal exclusive details about a powerful alliance that's been formed. One that combines executive authority with technological genius in ways never before seen. Who did Elon Musk bring into the Department of Government Efficiency that has corrupt bureaucrats shaking in their boots? What ancient technologies are these wizards using to unravel decades of financial deception? Why are billions of dollars suddenly disappearing from NGO balance sheets? The revolution is happening behind closed doors, and it's going to change America forever, but we are opening those doors for you tonight. And while Elon and Trump battle the globalist hydra that's threatening American sovereignty, another battle is raging inside Americans' bodies. A shocking 2024 study reveals nearly half of all adults have high blood pressure, a silent crisis fueled by the same processed foods pushed by big corporations. That's why I use this incredible formula with clinically proven ingredients like white mulberry leaf and cinnamon bark powder. Just as Musk and Trump are fighting to reclaim America's independence, this product helps you reclaim control of your heart health. Experience up to 40% off at boostwithgary.com and reclaim your independence today. It's linked below. Yes, the globalist cabal has been exposed. Doge investigation uncovering massive corruption networks spanning NGOs, the Vatican, and the deep state elites launching desperate attacks while Musk launching rockets. The revolution they don't want you to see is happening right now. Liz Yore calls to Doge the Vatican. The Holy See is compromised by the globalist agents funneling your money to the radical left causes. The supposed spiritual leaders are working with the demonic elite to enslave humanity. The Vatican Bank scandal was only the beginning. Here is Liz Yore on Real America's Voice.
Let's demand that every single file of every predator that has been protected and elevated by Francis is exposed. Let's expose every Freemason who is a cardinal. Let's expose the entire word for word and 3 iterations of the China agreement. Let's expose that to the world. I mean, this is the time for, the Catholics are supposed to have a voice, right? Isn't that what Francis says? We're now supposed to be the synodal church. Well, get your voice and start fighting, because this is what the deep state is afraid of. They've had the moral voice of Francis for the last 12 years, Steve, and they have used it in climate change, in migration, in the transgender, in abortion. He has served as their moral voice. Well, no more. He's now going to be judged by God, despite not believing that there's hell. Francis, thinks there's no hell. It is time now to, a Doge moment for the church? Yes. Open up the files. It is time to get rid of the filth. And by the way, that Vatican Bank, which was supposed to be examined by internal and external auditors and never was because Francis closed it down. Let's open up the Vatican Bank and let's see the $2 million a year or $2 billion a year grant from the Chinese Communist Party to the Holy See. Enough is enough. If we're not going to fight this battle, then we ought to just submit to the deep state.
I'm 100% down, and we got to expose Parolin. Parolin is the top candidate right now. He's the guy that cut the deal with the Chinese. He's the worst of the worst in the henchmen, and also McCarrick's guy. We ought to open up all the files of McCarrick and all these guys. They have to be opened up, and people got to say, hey, here's whoever was responsible. You finally got to open up and say, hey, let the chips fall where they may.
Right.
Because there's going to be some questions going back into John Paul. There's going to be some questions going back into Benedict. There's going to be some questions asked about people that look the other way. Well, you got to do it. How did McCarrick become the Pope of America? How did he become so powerful? A guy they ended up laicizing. Yes, ma'am.
And the ultimate question for our country is, did McCarrick and the Obama and Biden administration play a role in the color revolution of the Catholic Church? That is a defining question. If so, every single act, word, document that was produced by Pope Francis is null and void. Was there a color revolution in the Catholic Church coming out of the administration of Obama and Biden?
Peter Thiel demanding criminal prosecution of thousands of Democrats running NGOs exposed by Doge. The tech billionaire confirming what we've been saying. These are not charities, but money laundering operations for the global Marxist agenda. Check this out.
Like, I've been a little bit shocked. Like, I knew there was waste, but there seems like a lot of scams they're finding. I guess like a lot more scams, I guess, than I
think there were scams. I think the nonprofit stuff is
the NGO stuff's out of control.
Is really out of control. It's sort of like, I don't know. It's sort of like virtue signaling is a sign that you're doing something evil.
Yeah.
And so much of this left-wing philanthropy nonprofit world, I think was, it was just a cover for, borderline criminal activity.
It's how you shield yourself. You have to put a virtue signal up while you're stealing money from everyone. Yeah.
There's one of the, and there's all the stuff you have to really go into the weeds of how this stuff works. But the way it was explained to me, there's sort of a level 5 description, which is a line item, description of what the actual dollars are going to. And then there are ways these things get summarized. And the way they got summarized for, a lot of the political appointees was a level 4 description, where you summarize a bunch of level 5 descriptions as a, as an alternate, in a level 4 way. And then obviously there are ways, you can have, I don't know, you can have 20 groups that are, providing food to Africa, different African countries, and you can summarize that as food to Africa. That's maybe an accurate description. And then if they're actually all working on the Biden re-election, that's an inaccurate description. At some point, the descriptions are so inaccurate that the people in the government could be prosecuted for fraud.
Yeah.
And one of the people who looked at this a lot thinks you could just prosecute these people for fraud. This is something like this is what Oliver North was prosecuted for in the Iran-Contra scandal in the 80s, was he mischaracterized the money and he mislabeled it. And it was like, he was accused of defrauding the government. And I think you could prosecute thousands of these people criminally for the thing that they wanted to prosecute Oliver North for in the 80s.
Follow the money. State Department, 94% left. USAID, 98% left. National Endowment for Democracy, 95% left. Yeah, listen to this.
At USAID, so we started looking at all political donations from the State Department. We looked at them for USAID. And what did we find? For State Department, it was like 94% went to the left. At USAID, it was like 98% that went to the left. National Endowment for Democracy, like 95% to the left. And then we started looking at all of the partners, the international NGOs, the contractors, and started looking at all of them, where the billions and billions are going. And 95, 98%. Even World Vision Catholic Relief Services, the vast majority, well over 90% of the political donations were going to the left. You look at the boards, they're all prominent people making very high salaries. So when you think about what's happened, the left, which was misusing USAID, and they're doing this across the federal government, misusing taxpayer money as a slush fund to finance their own people. Mm-hmm. And these are folks that can go out there, do the media, be the foot soldiers of the left, give money back. And so you had a one-sided uni-party apparatus here funding only one side of the political equation. And thank you, U.S. taxpayer.
Yeah, that's how it was working. The system is striking back. Fabricated lawsuit claims Tesla speeds up odometers. The same deep state agencies being exposed by Doge are now trying to destroy Elon's companies. This coordinated attack shows how terrified they are.
Tesla, has Tesla been altering odometers? Reuters had an article that said Tesla speeds up odometers to avoid warranty repairs. And essentially the plaintiff in the lawsuit said that the odometer was running 15% fast. Now, full disclosure, I do own a Tesla, although I'm probably going to get rid of it soon because I miss my Ford Ranger and I like having a light truck. Now, the question is whether this is true, and the answer to that is maybe. Let's take a deep dive on this. If this were happening across the board, rental companies that actually rent Teslas would probably notice, especially since the job of the rental car company is to rent cars and kind of know the average mileage of a car over a year. They do resell these things. So if Tesla were doing this, it would probably show up at the rental car companies first, as opposed to people who just bought Teslas. And if you were Tesla, who would you be more afraid of, Hertz or some dude who owns a Model Y? And second, people who use their cars for business and track their mileage, using tools like Mile IQ that track your driving, could notice this when they submit their mileage to the federal government for their taxes around this time of year. So is it possible that Tesla could do this from a technical standpoint? Yes, it's possible. It's even possible that Tesla can automatically turn off any kind of mileage adjustment on rental vehicles. That way they don't get caught by the rental companies. But they don't know who's using these cars for business and tracking their travel with an app. And that's where the real evidence is going to come from if it's true. So if you have a Tesla and you use it primarily for business, compare what you have on your odometer with the books that you're submitting to the IRS this year, and that should give you a good indicator if Tesla really is altering the odometer.
Wow. Trump and Elon were spotted at the Trump National Golf Club, forming the alliance that will save America, the two most powerful patriots, joining forces as the globalists in panic mode. Check this out.
Bring your hats.
God bless you, Trump. I love the hat. Elon, keep doing what you're doing on Twitter. Keep doing it. I love it.
Oh, you gotta love seeing that kind of stuff. The Hollywood elites, what's up with them? Attacking Hannity, destroying Disney CEO Bob Iger for his vile comments about Elon and Melania. The woke entertainment cartel that poisons your children's minds is terrified of the Trump-Musk alliance, and their propaganda machine is crumbling. Let's take a listen to what Hannity's talking about.
Languages. When he made the comments about Elon Musk, I went after him. I'm like, really, Bob Iger, you're the CEO of woke DEI Disney. Do you approve that message joking about domestic terrorism? Just like when he went after Melania Trump, the woman speaks 6 languages. English is her 6th language. She's reading to children, and he starts making fun of her accent. I mean, you're just an asshole to do that. And I went hard at him, and I made him apologize to me before I'd ever give up. That's how deep in the pain I went against him.
Let's keep going here. Elon hired Doge Wizards, who use AI to read burnt scrolls from Pompeii. Did you hear about this? Genius level minds are now unraveling the corrupt NGO money web. While the deep state hires diversity consultants, Elon finds actual geniuses to expose their crimes.
Fund the government. See people ignoring certain core facts. Like, this is the most fascinating thing about this US aid thing to me, is how people on the left are completely ignoring all the rampant, obvious corruption and conflicts of interest in the government funding non-government organizations that in turn fund the government. Like, that's so crazy. And anybody that doesn't think that's crazy, it's like, what do you love money influencing everything in your daily life? Don't you think that maybe we have a problem in that we have a huge deficit? And if part of our huge deficit, we're spending fucking billions of dollars every year on horse shit?
Yeah. I mean, that is my issue with people being like, see, it is the, like, political thing isn't right, which is true. It's important to be accurate, but it's also like, yeah, but there's this money shouldn't be spent this way.
No.
So just because this thing is maybe not true, you're pointing to this one thing that could be people are misrepresenting, but there's a much bigger problem you seem to want to just sweep under the rug and say, oh, like, you guys are just crazy for noticing all these connections. But didn't they make them stop or something? Did they freeze their ability to?
Frozen. Yeah.
These kids are nuts. That guy who, like, found the scroll, how to read the scroll from Pompeii.
Scrolls from Pompeii, using AI. Yeah, no, they're wizards. That's the kind of people that you want digging into this stuff. And that's why Elon got them. I mean, he knows what the fuck he's doing.
Government dripping with fat. Let Elon do his thing. The business mogul confirming what Doge is finding: billions in wasted taxpayer money funneled to leftist causes. Elon's Hoover will clean out decades of corruption. Here is Mr. Wonderful.
I thought he'd get a...
What do you make of Elon Musk going through Washington right now with a Hoover?
I'm okay with it. And I think the American people are okay with it. Everybody knows the dirty little secret about government. It drips with fat. No one's ever done an exercise like this. I thought he'd get a lot more pushback from Congress, and he's not. He's going in there with a spatula, and he's scraping out billions of dollars, and people are okay with it. After all, it's taxpayers' money. Right. Why not do this? If you sit around your kitchen table, you got to have a budget every year. Right. Why can't we apply the same kind of philosophy to government? And that's why he's getting a lot of latitude and a lot of slack, even though he's a controversial guy. But look at the executional skills he has. Sure. There's nobody like him. Let him do his thing.
Amen. While fighting the deep state, Elon's still revolutionizing space. SpaceX flawlessly launches and lands another rocket. The same corrupt systems trying to destroy him can't match his genius. Yeah, I love watching these SpaceX launches and landings.
On landing burn.
There is the start of our stage 1 landing burn. We're now waiting for Falcon 9 to make that precision landing.
Deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
What a beautiful view of that stage 1 landing. And there you have it.
On landing burn.
Absolute amazing to watch that stuff. Relevant data is the most precious thing worth blowing up rockets to get. This mentality is what makes Doge so effective. While the NGOs hide their finances, Elon's team is blowing up their security to get priceless data on their corruption.
Sends it. Feedback beats planning. SpaceX has taken an ultra important principle from software engineering, realized it applies to all engineering, and that, you see, is why SpaceX doesn't do things the NASA way, test and plan and test and generate mountains of paper detailing every contingency. SpaceX just shrugs. It's unmanned and sends it. Half the time it blows up. That possibility is part of the plan because one rocket blowing up or crashing is an actual end-to-end test. Relevant data is the most precious thing in the universe, and it's worth blowing up any number of rockets to get it because rockets are just stuff. They're just made of stuff. You can always get more stuff. You can never get more time. It just means we're doing it cowboy style.
Oracle founder Larry Ellison defends Elon. You're saying he's an idiot? The guy's landing rockets. Who are you?
I work for the Wall Street Journal. Elon doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to have to go out for money. I'm really smart. I work for the Wall Street Journal. And I said, who are you? This guy's landing rockets. You know, he's landing rockets on you know, robot drone rafts in the ocean. And you're saying he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, who else is landing rockets? You ever land a rocket? Okay, you're telling me he's an idiot. I just want to know who you are so I know. Why should I believe you as opposed to my friend Elon, and we're out here watching this rocket land, and which I think is really cool. And you're there in front of your, you know, your Apple Macintosh and typing up an article saying Elon's an idiot. Had to get that.
While fighting the corruption, Elon also creates life-changing tech. We can attach Optimus arms during Neuralink implants. The medical industry complex that profits from your suffering is terrified. What?
Actually attach an term also is to say, if you take parts of the Optimus humanoid robot and you combine that with a Neuralink, let's say somebody has lost their arms or legs, well, we could actually attach an Optimus arm or Optimus legs and do a Neuralink implant so that the motor commands from your brain that would go to your biological arms now go to your robot arms or robot legs. And again, you'd have basically cybernetic superpowers.
Actually, so the
long term also is to say, if you take
patriotic courage, Trump supporter in MAGA hats standing fearless among thousands of hostile protesters. This is the spirit of resistance that Elon and Trump are inspiring.
Pull up and say that's what
I am.
That was rude of her.
Well, you know, the Trump derangement syndrome.
The Great Awakening is here. Doge exposing corrupt NGOs. Elon's team unraveling the money trails while the Trump-Musk alliance terrifies the global elite from the Vatican to the deep state. The entire system is being exposed. Follow next news for the truth they don't want you to see. Tesla speeds up odometers. What? Is that really happening? I don't know. But those are the claims being made. But Elon Musk isn't just building rockets. He's rebuilding transparency. While his AI wizards at Doge unravel a complex web of NGO money laundering that's been siphoning American tax dollars to fund radical leftist agendas worldwide, his companies keep innovating despite unprecedented attacks. As Oracle founder Larry Ellison put it, you're saying he's an idiot? The guy's landing rockets. Who are you? And that's the question we should be asking all the so-called experts who spent years telling us to trust the system while they weaponize it against us. From Neuralink-enabled prosthetics to AI systems that decode ancient scrolls, Musk represents what America does best: innovation, determination, and refusing to back down. Is the Musk-Trump alliance the partnership that finally breaks the globalist stronghold on American power? Or is this just the beginning of an even more profound revolution? Comment below. And show your support with our MAGAvengers gear, available at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, linked below.